successful elementary classroom will police itself. It will run itself. There have been times when I'm not here because maybe I've been pulled out for a meeting with administration, and a sub comes in because they told me that morning my kids can do it themselves.
Group meeting, for study and writing, first workshop, lunch at 11 o'clock.
Structured enough for the students to work independently and know how to learn in that classroom and do routines, but loose enough that they can grow. It allows for differentiation in lessons, and it allows for different personalities and for change. The lessons aren't so rigid that you, for example, you have to finish page 95 today.
Math, Bible, go home at 3 o'clock.
Whole brain teaching. Look it up. There's tons of videos. Look it up. But basically, it is a reciprocal kind of teaching. I joke that it's called army teaching in my mind because, like, I'll say eyes and ears. They say eyes and ears, eyes and ears, eyes and ears. Or I'll say words and mirrors, you know, and they're all of a sudden copying what I'm saying. It's kind of like, you know, the directed teaching. But you're catching them being good. Point. Oh, yeah. I'll cheer, oh yeah, or if they do something wrong, I'll say, oh, and they'll make a good mighty groan, oh, you know, and they know they've done something really against our rules. I do not mind if you are chit-chatting quietly, but I know that you are not writing if I hear you talking to people across the room.
How often do you reinforce class rules?
Every day, consistently every day. We tell each other the rules every morning. I'll go back to them. We may have to stop and I'll say, let's restart this. Let's go back and we said that we're going to raise our hands to talk.
Eye for listening. My eyes are watching. My ears are listening. My lips are sealed. My hands are still. My feet are quiet.
In the beginning of the year, we're talking about communities and what we need to be good citizens. Thus, we start with rules, and most first grade rooms start that way. But one of the things I had read a couple years ago from a second grade teacher in her classroom was that when she started communities in that unit, she also talked about how important it was that everyone had a job, and that job was something that was tied to your gifts. Everyone has a gift about things that they do. So I briefly talk about that in the beginning of the year, and for the first 2 weeks of the school year, I say I want you to watch the different jobs I do to make our community be successful. We have to do certain things for this classroom to run successfully. So I want you to just watch and see things that I'm doing every day. So every day they would see me do things like put out the lunch cards, help put up the chairs, wash the tables, erase the board, turn the lights on and off. So then what I do is 2 weeks after that, after we've studied different jobs in the communities, is I have them brainstorm as a class what jobs are important for our class to run. So every year it's a little bit different. So for instance, this year we have a pillow organizer because someone saw that I was constantly moving pillows around and making sure that they were in places where I could walk. So that became a job. We brainstorm this list, and then what I have them do is pick their top 2 jobs, and I interview them during recess. And I tell them that they're going to have their job for the whole school year. I'm not one day the first grade teacher, and then the next week I switch to be the principal. Nor does the cafeteria lady switch after a week to become the second grade teacher. We don't take turns doing different jobs because we're interviewed to be successful at that job and have it all year. So they're going to have the job all year. If I have to talk to them over like maybe 2 to 3 times, 3 is usually my limit because like in baseball, 3 strikes you're out. But if I need to speak with them 3 different times, I do have to fire them and switch them to a different job. And that's happened this year. I want them to be accountable for that job. And as you notice today, they noticed right away that Luke wasn't here to erase the board and Annie filled in. They also noticed right away, wait a minute, that means Sam's not here either to do cheers. Can I sub for him? So they're helping each other and they're making that community work.
When calm. When calm. Precipitation. What are you trying to do? It looks a little breezy out there.
Ma'am. It says, fix the sentence. The star was bright in the sky. So first, is it fluent?
No.
The star was bright in the sky. Does that sound like we would talk? It does. So it's fluent. We don't have to fix it, thank goodness. But we have to look and see, is that a complete sentence? Does it start with a capital letter?
No.
Does it have spaces between each of the words?
Yes.
Now, if you look at their letters, do you spy something that doesn't quite match what our rule is for handwriting? So if I was going to fix this sentence with handwriting, I would also start them at the very top of the line. Capitalize it. Do you see a difference in those T's? Okay, so when they say fix the sentence, first graders, will you not only fix just the capitalization, the punctuation, and the spaces, will you also fix where they start the letters, because you know that they need to start at the top. All right, when you are finished with this word, will it go?
In the finished word file.
In the finished word file. If I'm telling this story, and I say, it was really foggy out, I went outside, then, are you hooked yet? Do you want to know what happens?
Yeah.
Me too. My transition word helps you know that something's coming up.
Before.
Before Ian comes over to group meeting, he's going to put his paper in the finished file folder. Ethan, can I conference with you, please? So what is your story about?
Oh, my birth.
Okay, why don't you read to me and then we'll talk about a title.
K-I-N-G.
Okay.
I was a little frustrated.
Take this out because I hear this word a lot. So we either want to put a different word choice in there, make it sound more interesting, or we just want to omit it, which means we just take it out and we go ahead with the next word. Second insurers, McKenna, Ethan, Adrienne, Annie, and Layla. Ethan remembered the sign.
The parts and when the carrot they like those on you. And the dog and cat moved in together. Dog quickly arranged one side of the
I think deeper below that was this drive to really organize my world. And school became a very safe haven for me. And I started to see that people learned in different ways, and there were different ways to address that. What if I used pennies?
3 pennies.
3 pennies would be 3 cents. I need to have 5 cents. So how many pennies would it be? 5 pennies. So instead of that nickel here, I can show 5.
Penny plus 3 equals 5.
That's right. At every stage, just fell in love with it. There was just something neat about how people learned and the magic of when people learned. In college, when I was, telling my parents about what I wanted to do, actually telling one of my aunts at a party, and she said, "So what do you want to major in?" And I said, "Elementary ed." My parents looked at me with these wide eyes, like, "Are you insane? You want to be around little kids all day?" And I said, "Elementary ed," and they looked at me like. You another question word. All right, we'll have a new password this afternoon.
Give me an H. I. N. What's the sound?
Short vowels. Can you pass those now?
Yeah.
Okay, super. Last one. Super. Boys are more systematic. They would rather just decode. Girls are always more into the illustrations. How does this book make me feel? Boys are more, are we finished with that? Can I go on to another book? So I often have to pull boys back into their world. For instance, you've got a word right here, and a girl would probably just use her finger, zip. The boys, we're gonna have to use the car, zip.
Up in class and placed in the manger. Lying in the manger.
they'll often get jealous of each other because they'll see each other using different tools. So for instance, and you can make these just like with PVC piping, but tubaloos. So the kids, when they're reading all together in the reading group, they can whisper like this. And they're all reading at the same time.
A tulip.
With Daily 5, you choose books that are at their level to begin the year, and then they can choose books that are one below or one above their level. So you assess them first, and you find out where they're at. So if you're at a level G, let's say, then I'll say, okay, well for you, Jeff, you're going to read level F's, G's, and H's. G is going to be a just right fit. F's going to be a little easy. You could read it to someone. G would be great for read to self. And H is going to be a nice little stretch to make you an even better reader. So then they've got a goal. Does that help out a little bit? You need to pray about what God wants you to do. You need to pray specifically about how do you want me to teach this and how will you equip me to be the teacher you've called me to be. And that's something I still pray every single morning. You know, just God, please equip me to be the teacher my kids need me to be today. If He's equipping me to be the teacher those kids need me to be right at that moment, then He's going to provide the rest. But He's going to provide that resource if you've come so close with Him and walked with Him. And if He's called you that far, He's going to use you in really creative ways. On your feet, on your feet.